had about the task force and school safety. So I'm very fortunate. I get to talk about school safety around the country, and this is especially exciting for me because this is my hometown. With that being said, I think that I need to share a little bit about how Choose Love and Scarlett and myself met, and how it has changed my life, and how it's changing lives across New Hampshire and across the country. So if I can get this to work here. So in my role, I was the Director of Homeland Security, and so after Sandy Hook, then Governor Hassan talked to us and said, look, we need to do something on school safety. What are we going to do? And everybody was saying, going to the superintendents and chatting and saying, hey, Mr. Superintendent, are our schools safe? Is your school safe? So the superintendents were coming to us saying, look, what can we do to try to look and see if our schools are safe? So we put an assessment program in, and right now we do an assessment of every school in the state. We've done every school in the state, and give an in-person assessment with the superintendent, the fire department, the police department, facilities person, and we give a report back that says these are the areas that you could improve on. So, and that was great, because, you know, they got an opportunity to look at the schools and talk about the things that they could improve safety. Governor Sununu got elected and met with me, and I told him what we're doing. He was really excited, and I was so excited to be doing that work, and he said, we're not doing enough. We need to do more. You're giving a report back to the schools, but it's paper. So what he did is he allocated $20 million to fix those gaps that are in those schools, and I'm happy to say that after this program this year, 90% of our schools, K through 12, public schools in the state of New Hampshire, have received some type of funding for security upgrades this year and hardening the schools. Not only did he allocate $20 million, we're over $10 million oversubscribed, we came up with another $10 million. So in the last year, we put $30 million into hardening our schools. Why do I tell you? Is because this all ties in to the Choose Love program. Because if you look at school safety, we look at this pathway to violence. This is the pathway to violence as outlined by the Department of Justice. It starts with a grievance, goes to ideation, goes to research, go to preparation, go to breach, and then the attack. So we started looking and saying, so what's more important? Is it more important to harden our schools? Is it more important to provide mental health services? Is it more important to provide quick, accurate, and efficient response from law enforcement? It's a really good question. So we were wrestling with that as governors talked to us and said, we want you to do a task force. We want you to do a task force, and we want more recommendations. We want to do more to make our schools in New Hampshire safe. We want New Hampshire the safest state in the nation. To do that, we really need to make our schools safe. So we started talking about this pathway to violence, and I think that one of the things that we do recognize, and I think the governor said it best in the State of the State address this past year, if you can't get up in the morning, put your child on the school bus, and send them to school and know they're safe, nothing else matters. The economy doesn't matter, whether you have a big house doesn't matter, whether you have a swimming pool doesn't matter. That all that really matters is your children safe. So we told him, he said, we want you to do more, start this task force. So we started looking at this, and what he did is he said, I want 90 days, I want a report back to me with recommendations and actionable items that we can do to make our schools safer. So 90 days, get the task force going, do a report, and get it back to me. He called me in, I was the chair of the task force, and I said, that's not a problem, we'll do like 10 pages, we'll have 5 recommendations, and we'll be good. As we started this, the people that wanted to be on this task force and the working groups just kept expanding, kept expanding. We had 150 people put 1,000 hours into this task force report in 90 days. And in 90 days, we provided these I'll have a couple of reports up back. There's a website that I'll have up there that you can download this. It is 76 pages, 59 recommendations. We reviewed every active shooter incident that's ever happened in this country and put recommendations in how to make sure it doesn't happen here. We have 87 cited documents in here, and we did this in 90 days. So if you can picture us writing this in 90 days, you'll see our challenge here in a minute. So in the middle of this 90 days of writing this, we're writing it in-house, we're working 24 hours to get this to get this out into the public, and the governor calls me, and he says, Perry, I need you to meet me at this school in Pembroke. I said, how come? He says, we're going to go see this person speak. Her name's Scarlett Lewis. And I said, okay, Governor, what is it? He says, it's the Choose Love program. Now, as Shannon mentioned, I used to be the fire chief here, went on the Homeland Security, law enforcement, fire, not touchy-feely guy at all. Ever. So when he says to me, hey, we got to go to this Choose Love program. Now keep in mind, I'm working 18 hours a day trying to get the report written. I barely have time for lunch, if I had time for lunch, and he says, you got to come meet me. So I get my team writing this report. I go, hey, I got to run down the street. I'll be there an hour. If I get out early, I will, and I'll be right back. And so someone says to me, so if you want to go, why are you going to go? I said, well, I work for the governor, and the governor says, you meet me there. I meet him there. Pretty simple. So I get in the car and I go there, and the governor gets out of the car and he says, look, I don't know that much about this program. All I know is it's supposed to be good. I don't see anything that we're interested in, but let's take a look at it. I said, all right. The whole time I'm walking in, I'm looking at my watch going, okay, if I get out of here in 52 minutes, I can get home earlier and those types of things. So we sit down, and I haven't met Scarlett yet, and I'm actually just kind of looking at this as the people are talking, and I'm literally thinking, how quick can I get out of here? So Scarlett starts talking, and about 10 minutes into it, I start realizing this is the piece that we're missing. This is the piece that we're missing. This is the key to long-term success. And because we've been looking at this pathway to violence, and we've been up here. We hardened our schools. I coordinate SWAT training. We have efficient response. We're working on behavioral intervention teams with mental health services in schools. That's all reactionary. And we have this task force that's working on all reactionary items. And we're working hard, and we're passionate about it. And we figured out, that night I figured out, this right here, the school culture, that's the most important piece. It's the only piece that's not reactionary. It's the only piece that'll change tomorrow. And it's the only piece here that won't come with consequences because there won't be an event. I walked out of there a changed person. I went from not a believer, how quick can I get back, to I couldn't wait to get back, to tell the rest of my team that I have found the answer, and the answer is Scarlett Lewis's program. So I found this, I explained to the task force, they were all in. And you'll read our report, and you'll see that we're all in on this. But that wasn't enough. We're talking about schools, we're talking to schools downloading, we're talking to schools about this is a school program, get into your school. And Shannon comes to me and talks, and Scott comes to me and talks and says, yeah, I think we ought to get public safety in this a little bit more. I said, all right, I'll call all the people that I know. I've been in the fire service for 30 years, public safety for 30 years. We'll fill an auditorium, but I don't know how this is going to go over. There's not a lot of touchy-feely people in that room. And so, with the apprehension, I got them all together, turned them over to Scarlett and Shannon, thinking, well, I have a 30-year reputation with all my friends that have worked side by side, fighting fires. They're probably going to punch me in the arm when they walk out of this. I can tell you, they felt the same way I did. The ones that said, I can't believe you're dragging me to this, are bigger believers than I am. We went to the school resource office. We have a school resource officer conference. We brought Scotland to school resource officers and law enforcement together. And they've been pushing this program more than the schools have. It's amazing. Because you know why? We're all looking for the answer. We're all looking for the answer so this doesn't happen again in this country. And I can tell you that, you talk about Shannon, what she's doing, you look at this map, all those little hearts are schools that have downloaded this program in the last year. We were the first, I'm pretty sure we're the first state in the nation to adopt this statewide. Our governor has been pushing it, he checks on it, he questions us all the time. How are you making out? How are you making out? How are you making out? And you want to know why he does it mostly? Because he's a parent too. And he cares about his kids. And he's got the same fears that you have, putting your kids on a school bus and sending them to school. But not only, we have 368 schools that download this program. That's amazing. I talked 2 weeks ago in Minneapolis about this with policy directors from governor's offices across the country, and they couldn't believe that number. They said, well, you have 368, well, you must have, what, 10,000 schools? I said, no, we're a small state. We have between 600 and 650 schools. In a year, that's how many people are bought in, because the program works. I'm going to turn this over to Scarlett in just a second, but it's a community program. Coaches and athletes, I'm a long-time hockey coach. This works there too. But what I really want to tell you is that this is the way that we're going to change our future. This is the way that your school is going to be safer. Do I regret putting $30 million into hardening our schools when the governor asked me and said, what should we do? Do I regret doing the hardening of the schools? And I've been asked. Well, hardening schools is not the answer. I don't regret that one minute. You know why? Because $30 million into hardening our schools was the quickest way to make our children safe. Why we had time to build this program. I don't regret training our SWAT teams on how to, and teachers and law enforcement how to respond to schools, because we may not capture everybody here, but we'll capture most. If they never have a grievance, they never get to idealization, they never get to research, they never get to preparation. But if we lose that one person, maybe they get recognized here and we get behavioral health teams behind them and get them the help that they need. And if we miss them there, and they try and they do their preparation, they hopefully intercede there, but we want to break this pathway to violence wherever we can. And if they get to the breach, maybe they can't be behind their school. With that being said, not only is this school culture going to change our schools, they're going to change the safety of our schools, how we interact, but they're going to change our communities. And if we change our schools, and we change our communities, we change our state, then we change the nation. It's really that simple. And this is the pathway to do it. How we create that school culture will set us up for how we interact for the rest of our lives. And hopefully, because of these programs, because of the work that Shannon's doing and Scarlett's doing, we will never have another active shooter in our state. That's our goal. But if they do, hopefully we'll put the other measures in to keep your children safe. So with that, I just want to thank Scarlett for coming to my hometown. I want to thank Scarlett for all the work that she does. And I want to thank all of you for coming, because this is really all up to you. It really is. After tonight, it's up to all of us. So with that, I'll turn it over to Scarlett.